Hey, my name's Elijah Elkins, and I am the founder of a recruiting company called Avoda, and also helped found a AI talent sourcing company called TurboSource. So I know a lot about recruiting and sourcing, basically, and I've been in recruiting for over 10 years. Um, I don't think any other recruitment company owner would probably tell you what I'm about to tell you, let you in on a bit of an industry secret, especially recruitment agencies that want to charge you 20 to 30% of the first year's salary to help you hire someone. Uh, the big secret is most agencies anymore are using LinkedIn or pretty standard sources for data and to contact people. The days of having a Rolodex or something are really over. Um, if somebody says they have a proprietary set of candidates or these candidates they've worked with, excuse me, for years, it's possible, pretty unlikely. From what I've seen, most recruiters are doing the same sort of stuff, especially agency ones. They get your job, your requisition, and then they check their database if they have one. Oftentimes, they're still going to go onto LinkedIn or somewhere else and start searching for candidates. A lot of time, it's LinkedIn if you're at a startup, tech, sales, any sort of kind of like white collar roles where the people are on LinkedIn, then they're going to use LinkedIn, right? And it's pretty unlikely they're already connected with the candidate that you'll end up hiring. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's pretty unlikely. So if you have the same tools or largely the access to the same tools, uh, what would I suggest you do instead of working with a recruitment agency, given that you have the same tools, right? I would suggest you do the sourcing yourself. Um, Candidates often don't reply to recruiters. Again, I'm not saying they never do, but they often are more likely to reply to the hiring manager or a recruiter who actually works at the company, like an in-house recruiter. Sometimes they're called in-house, internal, or corporate recruiters. Basically, they're employed by the company, not an agency. So by the employer, not an external recruitment agency. Um, okay, so that's a lot of setup, but I want to show you actually how to source candidates yourself. Like, how can you basically do what an agency is going to do and charge you 20 to 30% of the first year's salary? That could be, if you're in tech, that could be like 20 to $60,000. It is worth it. It is worth your time to try to do sourcing yourself or to hire a sourcer or to use an AI sourcing tool. Like, it's you're going to save tens of thousands of dollars by not using an agency. And again, for the most part, they're just going to do this, but they'll use fancier tools in some cases, or they may just do this manually themselves. The other thing is candidate experience. Before I show you how to do it, oftentimes the way recruitment agencies work is it's a numbers game, it's volume, right? They need to be working with a lot of different candidates, submitting to a bunch of different companies so that they can get that big placement fee that covers, their work, their labor, their time investment, tech, etc. Uh, and I've even experienced this as a candidate a number of years ago. It's probably been, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. You're all of a sudden the recruiter's really interested, talking to you, messaging you, on the phone, texting. And then all of a sudden when the company passes and they say, "Oh yeah, we don't want to interview that candidate again or we don't want to move forward," then they're just kind of done with you for now. You may try to reach, "Hey, do you have any other?" And you may not even hear back. They may just ghost you. I think sometimes recruiters, when you get rejected, they may not even tell you. They may just focus on other candidates. So hopefully not, right? There are some good recruitment agencies, um, but in general, the candidate experience can be pretty poor, and that can reflect poorly on your brand, right? I mean, think about that. Someone's interacting with your company, and then they're being treated poorly by a recruitment agency who is acting on your behalf. So, um, I know that's a lot, but let's actually get into what I'm suggesting you do yourself. So let's say you have an account executive role, you want to hire a salesperson, right? All right, so let's go in here. We're putting the brackets, the parentheses around it to make sure LinkedIn knows to search for that specific like phrase. Otherwise, if you don't put that in, this is called like Boolean, which you can look it up on use an LLM to help you if you want to learn more about Boolean searches. But basically, we're telling LinkedIn to ignore the space, right? And kind of treat this all as one search term. I think it works on Google as well. We're going to click account executive, put that in there. We're going to go people. All right, now we have a list of account executives. Let's say we wanted to make sure they work at a software company. We could go over here to industries. You have to be careful with industries. Some people put that they're in the software industry, um, and they are, or somebody may put, let's say they work at a company that's like software for construction. They may actually put they're in construction. So here's a little nuance around industries, but for SaaS, you can try software development. There's some new filters that LinkedIn has added, more specific ones the last couple of years that you could also add. Sometimes you have to think of the industry that the companies that you're interested in are going to be in. We could also put technology, information, internet. Let's see, anything else we want to add in here? Da, 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 da. And then let's say, yeah, we're gonna look in San Francisco. All right, San Francisco Bay Area, show results. Boom, there we go. Okay, Associate AE, Ricotta, Odoo, Stripe, Dynasty, Quotient, Atlassian, um, Modern Treasury. So we're getting a lot of software companies. Um, This can take a lot of time to look through because LinkedIn locks down a lot of the filters that you're allowed to use with the free version. You could purchase Sales Nav. I think it's probably like 120 or $130 a month. You'll get way more filters. There's also Recruiter Lite, which I believe's 110, something like that. Again, you get more filters and then you get some in-mails to reach out with. But this has been my go-to for, recruiting for like 10 years or so. Like you can do a lot with just free LinkedIn and connect requests. Um, we could add some more things in here if we wanted. Like some people might do like and then if you really care about something like President's Club, you want them to have been in President's Club, you could add and President's Club. I'd be careful with your ors, but you could do account executive or um, inside sales, or like you could do some other word if you're okay with this or that. But and can be helpful for like narrowing down because look here at how many pages. I think it's about 10 people per page. So there's definitely over 100 people that still meet this. And the more you can narrow it, the more helpful it's going to be. Okay, AE, four-time President's Club. So we'll open her profile. You definitely want to open the profile so the person can see that you viewed them. We can glance down through here at some of the experience. Great. Okay. Let's say we were really interested in reaching out to her about a position. You can see the recommendations down here. If you want to try to find any keywords on the profile because you didn't use it in your search, you can just hit Command F on a Mac and I think it's Control F. And then you could like search the profile, right? Like sales. And then it would kind of highlight it on the page. You can see that here. Or if we had like maybe something like quota. Okay, so she doesn't mention quota. So once you find a candidate that you're interested in reaching out to, you just click connect. So right here, always add a note. Otherwise, they don't know why you're reaching out, right? So you would say like, hi, Guadalupe, something like impressive sales experience. I know it's a little cheesy, but most people like to be complimented. You could throw SaaS in there. You could say something like, have you heard of X company, like wherever you're reaching out from? You could mention the role itself. And I always like to do this at the end so that you're not like hard pitching someone. Maybe they're not looking. Maybe sometimes you can accidentally reach out to somebody who's overqualified for a role and they can get a bit testy and touchy about it. So if you want to just be soft, like I would usually kind of end it with like thought you might know someone who would be interested. And then if they're interested, they're going to tell you that they're interested. If they're not interested, then they may mention someone else. Like it's kind of a win-win. If you just hard pitch them and you say, "Hey, Guadalupe, like you look like a perfect fit for this role." And then you look silly if you're wrong and they don't think it's a perfect fit, and they're not going to try to think of somebody else from their network that could be a good fit. So, I always do the kind of thought you might know someone who would be interested, unless I have a really good reason to like think that they would be. Yeah, so that's how you reach out. You just click send. You could also start trying to like comment on their posts. Like if they haven't replied to you, you could like a post that they made or something just to kind of like get your name and company brand in front of them. And that's it. If they're interested, they will go into their network tab and they'll click accept on your connect request. They'll be able to read like the little message that you sent to them. And then you can directly message with them. You can offer a call. You can send your Calendly link. Like that's really the connecting point where you can begin the conversation. That's what a lot of recruiters do in recruitment agencies. Like that's all they're doing. Maybe they send an email, maybe they can find like a phone number and they cold call, but a lot of them are using LinkedIn, they're using connect requests, they're using InMails, and they're doing the same exact thing you could do yourself. Um, yeah, so it takes time. It can take quite a bit of time honestly, to go through candidates when you don't have all those extra filters. There are AI sourcing tools, like I mentioned, like TurboSource, Gem, Juicebox, Pen. Like there's a number of different AI sourcing tools that can do this faster. The point is, you can save tens of thousands of dollars by having someone on your team or you doing sourcing on LinkedIn or another site where like you're doing the outreach yourself. It's not that hard. You just have to get past the what am I going to say? You can use an LLM, right? Use Gemini, GPT, Claude to write a little connect request message to them. That is like the bare minimum that you can do if the type of candidates you're interested in for your open roles are on LinkedIn. Like this is how I've made good money for quite a few years doing just this right here. You can step it up, like I said, by adding cold calling or sending an email to their personal email address. You can send in mails if you're going to pay for a more expensive, like LinkedIn license. LinkedIn recruiter accounts are actually super expensive. I think they're 9 or 10 grand a year. But there are some cheaper versions, like I said, like a sales nav, even though it's for sales, you can still use it to find people and send them a connect request. So find people, right? Use some keywords up here. You can use the industry and locations here to narrow down. A really great thing to do too, if you want to hire people like from your direct competitors or there's companies you know that are really legit, is actually to go into current companies and you could start adding like, let's say like Google or Apple. Apple's not really SaaS, but we'll put Salesforce, right? You get the point. So you can add in a list of companies here, but it is limited. You can't add in like 50 or 100 companies, which is part of why I built TurboSource, honestly, because I love using target company lists to figure out like, let's find the target companies, kind of like a salesperson would do. Um, who do we want to sell to? Well, we want to sell to these companies. Okay, now let's find the buyers at those companies. It's a similar approach. Like let's find the best companies that are the most relevant for us, our direct competitors, people in the ecosystem, great employers in Kansas City where our HQ is, that sort of approach. You can just add them in here, but it's limited. Like LinkedIn doesn't let you put in 50 or 100 companies. Again, that's why I built TurboSource is so I could search like 50 to 100 or hundreds of companies all at the same time for relevant candidates. So that's another thing you can use there. I would say what I use the most is like the search field at the top, the search bar, the location. I haven't really used verified as much because there are some people that will will verify their profile and some that weren't, some that won't. Current companies. I don't really get much into like schools, but if you really want people from specific schools, you could do that. And then industries. So those are kind of the big ones that I've used. All right. Well, that's the big picture. So just as a reminder, if you want to save tons of money and not use recruitment agencies anymore, do the sourcing yourself. Direct sourcing can be 8 times as effective as candidates coming in through a job board. That's based on a recent study by Gem, which is another great software for recruiting. Try some keywords, do some searching, open the profiles, go through the pages. The more you narrow this down with the filters in the field, the less clicking on profiles and opening you're going to actually have to do. But and if you really are strapped for time, it could be worth getting like LinkedIn Sales Nav or LinkedIn Recruiter Lite so that you can have these additional filters here, right? Like with Recruiter, you get 8 additional filters. It definitely saves some time, but if you're not strapped for time, or you have somebody on your team that could do this, it will save you so much money instead of using recruitment agencies. It's crazy. Like yeah, the thing that bothers me, honestly, about a lot of recruiting agencies is they're often reaching out to the same people that you could reach out to yourself. Like when I led in-house recruiting at Cloud Factory a number of years ago in the UK, I was like, they're sending me the same candidates. They're sending me their LinkedIn profile. These agencies were the same ones I could have found myself. And then oftentimes they weren't even accurate. Like they didn't understand the job or the company culture and stuff the way I did. So it was just more effective for me to take the time and do it myself, have the direct relationship with the candidate. Once they're added to your LinkedIn, you can more easily reach out to them next time. Also, right, if you're in-house and you're posting stuff about your company, all your connections start seeing that information as well. Like you have to think more long term, kind of employer branding, recruitment marketing. Like you're getting people from that marketing funnel, like aware or the reach stage at the top. You're helping them get more aware of your brands. So that's definitely what I would do the sourcing yourself, do the outreach yourself. If you have a hiring manager, they can do it too. Like you can tag team sourcing and just throw people, profiles into a spreadsheet so that you're not reaching out to the same people. You can keep it kind of low tech and easy, or you can use, a tool to really speed things up. But please, please, please consider using this strategy instead of using an agency. Save yourself money, and better than just saving the money, instead of paying 20% to the agency, pay the person that you want to hire 20% more or 10% more, 15% more. Like that money that you're giving to the agency to do the work that you could have done yourself, you could pay that person more money. You could improve benefits for everyone. If your team's small, you might be able to add a benefit. The money is precious, right? In a company, it's the lifeblood kind of of the business in many ways, especially smaller companies. And I really hate seeing small companies that either don't know how to recruit themselves or don't know how to do something simple like this because no one's shown them. They're paying maybe tens of thousands of dollars that they need for other things. Think about it like this. If you made, let's see, if you had $100,000 positions and you paid an agency 20%, and that was the average for your roles, then it would only take 5 placements at 20%. Say you needed 5 people hired, you pay an agency five, you paid $100,000. You could have hired another person for a year. Like, are you kidding? A year. Think of how much further along your business would be if you had just saved that $100,000 in agency fees and redirected that to hire, like a marketing associate or, yeah, some sort of role that's actually going to help your business grow. So, anyways, I know this is a long video, but I really wanted to just drive home the point that you can do the sourcing yourself. You can use free LinkedIn or premium. It's not expensive. It just takes time, but it's really, really worth it. And if you don't have a lot of time, there are still cheaper ways and tools that will automate, save you time where you don't have to use kind of the recruitment agency model. So please comment if you have any questions. Reach out to me if I can be helpful in any way. My goal is to help you save money while still making the hires that you need to make to move your business forward. Uh, and ideally, yeah, keep you from using agencies where you really, really don't need to. Thanks. Cheers. Bye.